Jay, what are you jamming on now?
Dude.
Let's talk about that.
Immortals of Avium. Have you heard of this game? Have you seen it? Have you heard of it? Oh.
Nope.
So, whenever I play a role-playing game where you get to pick a class, I always choose the magical class or the mage. I always want to rain destruction down on my enemies from my hands or from a staff rather than a sword. Like, that's my initial playthrough. So this game pretty much allows you to do that. Like, there's a storyline around magic. I don't want to give it away, but you pretty much inherit these magical powers, and the story is great. The gameplay is great. I spent the last 2 weeks playing this game. I just completed it. It was great. It was satisfying. Like, most of all, the combat is so good. Like, it's first person.
2 weeks? You can complete it in 2 weeks?
Yeah, I played it in the last 2 weeks for sure. There are definitely things I can still do. It's definitely far and away not 100% by any means. There are like 7 different, what are they called? Like mage wizards. I don't even know what they're called, but they're essentially like the mega bosses that I tried to do during my playthrough and just got like mopped up, which was confusing. But now, like, as I got towards the end of the game, I actually started getting legendary gear, which was not a thing in my mind. Like in a lot of other games where you're just like loot boxing, you can see that progression. This wasn't really like that to me. Like you definitely have a skill tree, you definitely progress. And it was a lot of fun to do that, but it's very simple. Like, even when you go around the world, it doesn't have so many power babies that you're going around chasing. You know, you're like,
power babies.
I got to get like 4.
Why haven't they made a sequel to that? Where is the Power Baby sequel?
Exactly. You got to get them all, man. Whether they're like, you got to get all the scrolls and all the loot box chest. And no. It's nothing like that. It's very simple. So I didn't really feel like I was like chasing loot at all. I was really just exploring the world, enjoying the story, and really enjoying the combat. So it's funny because like this game is on Game Pass, and when I heard it was being released, it looked good, so I wanted to check it out. And when I started looking it up and trying to see you know what other people thought about it, I found out that like it's received mixed reviews and sold poorly, and it led to the studio laying off almost half their staff, which blows my mind. Because like if any part of you likes being magical and playing in a first person, like this is a great story and great gameplay. Like I don't know what people are expecting nowadays, but this game was freaking great. Freaking great. That's all I have to say.
It's marketing, dude. Fucking, I hear, that name is, it's like, I'm trying to think of a good comp to this. Like some of those, it's like an RPG now, like The Immortal at the time in 1990 on the NES, different story. Now, though, there's been so many fucking games with so much shit, I don't know, so many different titles floating around in people's heads and stuff. I hear The Immortals, and I think of those Zezzy, ZZ, Zaza, like all those sci-fi games. It's just like, how can I possibly differentiate that in my mind from anything else?
That may be fair. Because this was a blast, man. This is great. Like, definitely an awesome find. Like, in Game Pass, like, boosts that value for sure. Other than that, man, I mean, that's really, like I said, that's really all I have had.
I guess we beat it in 2 weeks. What else do you have time to play?
Like that's pretty much it. It's sprinkling in a little COD. Like, obviously, I haven't really been putting that much time into this new season, but like there's new loot in the zombie mode. Like I like that, but I don't really know. The funny thing is that's my one knock against Call of Duty right now, and I'm excited for like the new Black Ops coming out. But my only knock on the zombie mode is that like you have to look up in guides to figure out like what is happening. Like I'm not sure. Like they're adding all this cool stuff, but I'm not really sure how to get it. Like I can't really find in the game how to get it. I got to go look elsewhere, which is frustrating, but the game is still a blast. So still enjoy sprinkling that in from time to time. And a little brotato when I just need like some zone out time. You know, a brotato is still nice.
They need to issue some fucking companion literature, some official companion literature, a strategy guide or something.
Yeah, maybe I'm not looking hard enough.
Lost art. Yeah, I'm sure there's no question someone is out there doing some kind of chronicling of
Yeah,
every fucking corner of the game.
Oh,
No
I'm
matter
sure.
that.
Well, whenever we're, because obviously that's a multiplayer thing. So when I'm playing with my buddies from back in Ohio, like they're sending me links to what people find. So people are putting it together, but especially with the newer stuff, it's kind of like, all right, we haven't really found it yet. You know, like we're still working on it until it gets found. But it's still good. Still good to go.
Okay. That's it.
That's it, man.
That's it.
I'm looking at you, and I don't even know what I'm looking at in the background. So explain me what is
that's
happening?
a doozy back there. Before that, all the talk about it, I feel it warrants a little bit of gravitas in this delivery. But I did it. I bested Set, Loki, and I returned peace to Egypt.
Woo.
Asgard's Wrath 2 is now behind me. Woe is me.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
but it is a great game. I have nothing negative to say about it, really. The end was interesting and tough, and like they, I've played the first one too, and I think they really, you get a sequel. Like, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna up the ante? How are you gonna whatever? And like, I think the end battle with Loki, no question, had like a bigger fucking. The Loki squab was like a very epic thing that they did quite well. It's still I technically did it. Like, I died a few times, but they don't, it's what those deaths where they just like the fucking modern shit where you just restart and do that thing over. And it's like, why bother even have it then? Like, why not just make that a movie? Like, I'm just going to get to I just got to hit 3 buttons and this, whatever. Like, why the fuck even make me do it then, I don't know. Again, there's no way to be truly happy as a modern gamer, I don't think. But overall, just the epic feeling of it, the presentation of it, and everything was fucking great and huge.
Nice.
And so that's like the one player thing. I finished the track, and I talked about like I don't think I can go back. My buddy Bung said you can't go back and do the completionist stuff. So like the game ends, and I'm like, okay, what's gonna happen now? And they just drop you back in like this netherworld area where you started all the time throughout the game, and then you could like either teleport to the area that you were working on, or there's like a portal thing that you can kind of walk through that just like takes you to the beginning of it, I think. Or there was this dungeon, I think I talked about at some point, that it's like a roguelite mode that you just go through this dungeon and through level after level until you get murked, I've never engaged that. I don't really enjoy it. I tried it a few times, and like, I don't know. It does have, you're getting perma upgrades to some degree that you can apply both in that world or in that mode and the one player thing in some way. But to me, it was just tedious bullshit. So I never really got into it, but you can still do that. So the game does not like over necessarily, and they're doing all the usual shit. They have, I don't really engage it, so I'm not paying attention. But it's like seasons or monthly things where like you like pick a side. They probably are all like this, but you pick a side, either chaos or fucking order or whatever, and everyone's total tallies add up. Yep. And if you're with the winning side, you get extra spoils or whatever, and then you have like fucking like mini tasks that you can do, I think both in the roguelite and the normal world, and those add up to also contribute to that, yada yada. So there's all this fucking multiplayer competitive score tallying shit that you can keep doing. And also, and I don't know if this has changed since Will finished the game, but I can still go back to the one player game, and they've assigned all these new bullshit fetch quests that have no, there's like the minorest type of quest. They've made a bunch of new ones. Go catch fucking 6 fish. Go fucking kill whatever these things, so you can still fuck around in that world and kind of be accomplishing shit that you get rewarded for in some meaningless way. And I didn't even get, I didn't completionist all the fucking upgrades and stuff. So if I want, my whole point being, my huge worry about not being able to go back and completionist the fucking game once I beat it was all for naught, because you can. So I don't know if I feel any incentive to, but the option is available to me. So all that time I spent just like putting off finishing the game for that reason was unnecessary. Yeah, so
it is done.
But it is checked. Like you said, the backlog thing is done, so that's nice. It means I need a new fucking epic VR quest now, open world type thing. I'm not sure what to do. Assassin's Creed's there, but that's not really open world by my understanding. It's kind of like mission by mission type shit. I'm sure there's some hub thing, but it's not really like an open world game for sure. I'm rather certain of that. So I don't think that was gonna fix the fucking be a good enough fix for it. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I'm on the hunt for that chicken noodle soup for the soul, for my soul. Anyways. Still.
Good luck, sir.
Yeah, thank you. And I am still playing Blacktop VR, Blacktop Hoops VR, here and there. I finished the story mode at the scrub difficulty level, so I saw the ending of that. Pretty cool, pretty good story mode for a basketball game, I think, especially a VR one. And I've played a few multiplayer matches now, some 2-on-2 and shit, and I mean, it's awesome, but it is so dangerous. I got to fucking figure out some logistics here because it is just like, I talked about how maybe I already said this too. I had played maybe a little bit of multi last time, a couple of them. Like, you can separate in the one player thing, the AI, at least the scrub level AI, is bad enough where you can kind of like stay cognizant of your place in the real world. That dual thing I talk about. Yeah. You can kind of stay every now and again, peek out, make sure you're not fucking up against a mirror you're going to break or something, and try to keep your feet rooted and only use the controllers to do your movement and turning. But in multiplayer, especially 2-on-2, dude, like it's impossible. It's impossible not to turn. It's just and lose your bearings. And yeah, there's just no way to do it safely in a constrained space of any kind. It is so fucking hard, but it is such a well done experience, I think. So like, I just got to figure out some way to be able to safely play it because it's so fucking good. But all that to say, like, I have not played it as much as I want to. Like, I think about playing it and I'm like, I don't have a solution. What am I going to do? Like, I got to move this table. Like, that's a lot of work. It's frustrating. So frustrating because it would be so much fun to really get into routinely. I think I said it last time too, but I'm keeping like a sweat rag next to my thing now. Because
I would imagine you'd have to.
Like, yeah, when you play it, there's if you just let that dry after you're done, it'll be gross as fuck. But next time you pick it up,
anytime I played Beat Saber, I've like thought about bringing that in, and so I can only imagine playing basketball. Oh, yeah, dude, no way. Yeah.
It's so good though, dude. It's so fucking, and there's definitely kids and shit playing fucking that game. So you're playing. You tell you're playing like a 9-year-old, and he's just like dribbling around you and shit and talking shit. It's like there's just no way not to have that. There's no filtering or anything. So like,
oh, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, it is like bouncing so fucking the ball. Yeah, he's just bouncing the ball off the fucking backboard. You're like, looking around. It's like fucking like it's like a toddler playing his dad. So fucking.
Oh, that's hilarious.
hilarious, but frustrating nonetheless. We got a bit of demeo in, you and I. Came up just a C hair short on the Rat King.
I couldn't believe
sad it. Emojis about that. And so yes, the one behind me started playing a new point and click with Amy. It's called Paradigm. Found it on Steam. We got a hair up our ass, and we're like, we don't have anything we're like really questing on. Let's find a new point and click. And did some Googling. This is just one of the ones that popped we kept seeing in Reddit threads and stuff. And I think I watched a trailer, and pretty much the deal stealer was the main guy has a mutant pug that drinks vodka. It's just one example of like the tonality, Yeah. So I was like, this looks pretty fun. Let's check this out. And yeah, I'd say it's kind of a mashup of Space Quest and Maniac Mansion. So like,
interesting.
This comedy focused tone with like some sci-fi stuff going on. It's on this planet. As you can see, the guy next to me is like, what is he? I don't know.
I don't even know what's happening.
Right? Yeah, he's got some kind. I'm trying to think. I'm not even sure within the game world what they like. I'm trying to think. There's like a race name, or if he's some kind of mutant. I can't recall exactly what the story is for why he looks like he does. But yeah, it's super fun. It also has like on top of that like kind of just very sarcastic comedic tone. The aesthetic of it is like this. I don't want to go all the way to say Fallout, but kind of like that clunky technology thing going on. He has a computer, but it's an older computer. You're talking about discs, and like he's like interacting with this really kind of sloppy AI, in a lot of cases, and it's just it's really, really well written, and there's this training video that they show you, and it's like got VHS aesthetics to it, just all the stuff I'm a sucker for sure, So it's really well done, and I mean it was on sale. I think the price is supposed to be $15, but I think we got it on sale for way less than that. So if you're hunting for a point and click, Jay, I'm sure you are. Maybe take a look at that one on Steam.
Right. Yeah, no.
And the last thing, it's not game related, but I just started it last night, and I wanted to ask you. Amy and I talked about it extensively. Have you read Hatchet? Did you read Hatchet as a kid? By Gary Paulson?
That sounds familiar, but I couldn't
the kid is on a flight, like a little fucking prop plane flight. He's like 13, and the pilot has a heart attack, and the kid has to crash land the plane into a fucking lake or something, and then he has to survive on an island by himself.
No, that does not sound familiar.
That does not ring a bell. It was probably my favorite book as a kid, I think. At least like in that age bracket. In high school, there were some books I liked more. Like Native Son, fucking, I love Catcher in the Rye, of course. Fucking books like that. Lord of the Flies was good, I thought. Some of those like staple, childhood fucking public school curriculum books. But yeah, of the ones of like, grade school, this was probably the one I remember most and liked the most. And I was surprised. I was shocked that Amy said she read it, actually. But yeah, it's I started reading it last night, and dude, it's written for fucking fifth graders, dude. And like, I read 15% of it in like a half hour probably. So it's not like, it's not like reading some epic novel or anything, but plenty well written and fucking good. And yeah, I don't think I've read it since I was like, I don't know, fucking 11 or something. I finished a book that I was rereading for work stuff, this fucking nonfiction thing. And I was like, I need something that's like just the polar end of the spectrum as my next book. And like this, I had it in my little Goodreads to read pile for a long time. So I was like, fucking, yeah. So I was just curious if you read that too. Cause yeah, it's a fucking, I'm pretty sure. I mean, if you look at like, I didn't know any of this. I thought it was just a random thing. Like I said, I was surprised Amy read it, but like you'd be looking at the fucking, I go to buy it on Amazon and it's like 4.5 million copies sold. There's like 8 billion spin-off books the guy's written. It's a huge fucking deal, apparently. And yeah, probably a pretty big staple of a lot of curriculum. So thought it was nostalgia minded and worth mentioning here to see if you checked it out.
I had not checked that out, but you playing with Amy actually reminded me about something. So Courtney and I have actually also played, since our last session, It Takes Two. Have you heard of this game?
I feel like I have heard of it, but I'm not sure.
It's a co-op action adventure like platformer, but it's like it's fun and whimsical, but it's serious content. Like this kid, essentially this kid, her parents are going through a divorce, and so she's like trying to hopes they get back together, but she's kind of like at the same time disassociating, and like somehow magically like the parents become these dolls, and like they're forced to go on this like split screen co-op adventure. So it's like this serious thing that's happening with serious dialogue, and the game you have to play like it's co-op. You have to play cooperatively to figure out.
Sounds like those Unraveled games that I played. I think that's what they were called, where you're like the little thread figurines.
Oh yeah,
you're like connected by a thread, and you got to like work together to solve puzzles and stuff. Yep.
So it's so good, man. So good. Like that's our current game to play together. So I'll check that out if you hadn't.
It Takes Two. Yeah, I've definitely heard that name before.
Yeah,
that's a
EA game.
Unlike the Immortals, that's a very memorable name.